And that right there is something that actually could be bad for Voyager. What is going on, Wade Trade Brigade? Today, we're going to jump into the cease and desist order to Voyager Digital. So let's transition over here to this Yahoo Finance article, okay? So this was the Voyager Digital falls on cease and desist orders from states, okay? Those states include Jersey, Indiana, Kentucky, and Oklahoma, okay? They got a cease and desist order for its interest-earning cryptocurrency products. Now, it goes on to talk about the crypto investment firm is in an ongoing communications with state regulators to better understand the orders and to clarify certain statements in the orders that Voyager believes are inaccurate. It said the shares which trade on the Toronto Stock Exchange fell 21% as of 12:32 p.m. New York time. Voyager has allegedly been financing income-generating businesses such as lending and staking of digital assets, at least in part, through selling interest-earning cryptocurrency accounts in violation of securities law. New Jersey's Bureau of Securities said in a statement on its website, calling the accounts unregistered securities. The accounts have raised at least $5 billion nationwide. So they also go on to say that there were about 1.5 million Voyager Earn program accounts as of March 1st, okay? Of which, listen to this, 52,800 were based in New Jersey. 52,800. So this obviously is not a very large portion of Voyager's accounts, but we'll get into that a little later. I'm going to bring up the whole cease and desist order and everything. So it says clients invest in Voyager Earn by depositing eligible digital tokens into their accounts in return for an attractive interest rate that's paid monthly in the same cryptocurrency they invested in. Voyager pools the cryptocurrencies deposited by such clients to fund its income-generating activities and investments in other digital assets trading platforms, the Bureau of Securities said. The Voyager Earn program accounts are not registered with the Bureau or any other securities regulatory authority, nor are they otherwise exempt from registration, it said. The lack of regulatory oversight adds a layer of risk, and it makes it all the more important for individuals to do their homework and fully understand the offerings before investing in them. Last part here. Scrutiny has been mounting up on cryptocurrency lenders, which have attracted tens of billions of dollars in deposits by promising yields that far exceed those available through traditional savings accounts. Voyager competitor BlockFi, Inc. agreed in February to pay $100 million to the Securities and Exchange Commission and state regulators as a part of a settlement, and said it would seek SEC approval for accounts that pay clients high yields for lending out crypto. Okay, now that we've got that covered, let's move on here to what is a cease and desist. So a cease and desist letters put an individual or business on notice that they are engaging in some sort of activity that you believe harms you. In this case, right, the New Jersey government put a cease and desist letter out to Voyager, so they think that it could be harming their citizens, and lets them know if they do not stop, you will be pursuing legal action against them. These letters are meant to serve as harsh warnings, though they do not have any immediate legal consequences. Okay? Did you catch that? There's no immediate legal consequences. Okay? Now, this is important to know because just because they got this cease and desist doesn't mean that they're shutting down the entire Voyager Digital business, okay? That's not what that means. It just means that the New Jersey Securities Commission, basically, they think that Voyager Digital is doing something illegal. So they send them the letter, and it goes on from there. Now, we are going to move on to the cease and desist order from the state of New Jersey Bureau of Securities, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you. And again, guys, I will put all of these things in the description below. If you want to read through all of this, you totally can. Everything that I'm going through, I'm going to put it in the description below, okay? So this is the actual website, but I'm going to pull up my PDF here because I have it annotated. Okay, so this is it right here. The State of New Jersey Bureau of Securities, okay? This is the summary of the cease and desist order. This one right here, finding facts. It says, Voyager Digital LLC is a financial services company that generates revenue through trading, borrowing, staking, and lending cryptocurrency. Voyager has been, at least in part, funding its income-generating activities, including lending operations, digital asset staking, and proprietary trading through the sale of unregistered securities in the form of cryptocurrency interest-earning accounts. Then it goes on to say, Voyager solicits investors to invest in the Voyager Earn program accounts by depositing certain eligible cryptocurrencies into the investor's Voyager Earn program account. After obtaining transfers of cryptocurrencies from retail investors, Voyager then pools these cryptocurrencies together to fund its various income-generating activities, including lending, operations, proprietary trading, cryptocurrency staking, and investments in other cryptocurrency trading platforms such as Celsius Network. In exchange for investing the Voyager Earn program's accounts, investors are promised an attractive interest rate that is paid monthly in the same type of cryptocurrency as originally invested. So I've got this annotated on the side here, and I was thinking that this kind of sounds like a bank a little bit, okay? I think that the banks are probably getting a little upset that people are finally learning about their savings accounts. And they're like, well, why would I keep my money in there when I'm earning 0.02% on my savings account when I could just stake this stuff, convert my cash into cryptocurrency, and then stake this stuff inside of my Voyager account and earn way more, like almost 100 times more, right? Or even more. So it's a lot better interest rate. Now, moving on, we already covered this a little bit in the Yahoo Finance news release, but this says, as of March 1st, 2022, Voyager had approximately 1,530,000 Voyager Earn program accounts, representing approximately $5 billion in assets, of which approximately 52,800 were New Jersey-based accounts, representing approximately $197 million in assets. Guys, that is not very much, okay? As far as the $197 million in assets compared to $6 billion, very small percentage, okay? But what I really wanted you guys to look at here is anybody who is a fan of Voyager Digital, 1,530,000 accounts. Guys, I just did a video on the Voyager Digital conference call. The most recent one, it was like February 15th of 2022. As of February 15th, well, technically, it was covering up until December 31st of 2021, but they announced it on February 15th. But this said as of March 1st, it had 1,530,000. Well, at December 31st, they had just over 1 million. They have gotten extreme growth since December 31st. In 3 months, roughly, they added almost 500,000 accounts. That's incredible for anybody who is a Voyager bull. Now, this right here is a little bit of a comforting statement. This is actually them telling you what's going on with Voyager Digital's business and how the cease and desist affects them. So it says, nothing in this order shall preclude Voyager or any of its affiliates from paying interest, also known as rewards, on the existing Voyager Earn program accounts or refunding principal to the Voyager Earn program account investors consistent with Voyager's customer agreement. Guys, they're literally telling you right here in the cease and desist letter that, well, we're telling them they're doing something illegal, but we can't actually stop them right now. We're not going to stop them, but we're just like letting you know we think you're doing something illegal. In a minute, we're going to get into something called the Howie test. And this is one of the things that is in the Howie test. It says, the Voyager customer agreement provides that an Earn program investor relinquishes control over the deposit cryptocurrency to Voyager, and that Voyager is free to use those assets as it sees fit, including commingling the Earn program investors' cryptocurrency with those of other Earn program investors. Investing those pooled assets and staking them or lending them to various third parties include custodians and other financial institutions. Having relinquished control over the deposited cryptocurrency in their Voyager Earn Program accounts, the Earn Program investors are passive investors. Now, I'm about to go over and show you something called the Howie test, and that right there is something that actually could be bad for Voyager. All right, guys, this is a great article that I'm pulling up here. This is by Blockchain Association, okay? And it goes over something called the Howie test. There are 4 factors in the Howie test. And factor 1 is it an investment of money? Factor 2 is it in a common enterprise? Factor 3 is with the expectation of profit. And factor 4 is it based solely on the efforts of others? The one that we're going to go over right now is it an investment of money? The first question in need of answering is whether the staking of tokens constitutes an investment. Of course, central to that issue is whether or not the potential investor has assumed a risk of loss. The answer to that question is, it depends. And they do a great job here of explaining this. In networks that allow individuals to delegate staking rights to third-party services, the delegatory relationship does not create a risk of loss because the individual never relinquishes custody of the asset. In fact, the only risk to this person is missing out on potential rewards. Now, the alternative is, in networks that require stakers to transfer custody of their tokens to a third party in order to participate in the validation process, the staker's assets may be at risk. This is because the staked tokens are subject to the risk that the third party never returns custody of the assets. Okay, so now that we've covered that, I'm going to go over here and take you to Voyager Digital's website. On Voyager Digital's website, we're going to go over this area right here. It says, customer understands that Voyager may hold customers' cryptocurrency together with the cryptocurrency of other Voyager customers in omnibus accounts or wallets. In addition, customer understands and authorizes Voyager to delegate some or all custody functions to one or more affiliates or third parties. Okay, guys, you check that? They're literally telling you that you're giving them the authority to, if they want to, transfer it to one or more affiliates or third parties, which may include but not be limited to exchanges and custodians at Voyager's discretion. So that is going back to what this was talking about right here. Talking about transferring it to a third party, okay? That is, I think, one of the biggest risks for Voyager Digital that's going to maybe consider it a security. Now, this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I want you to look through all of this. I want you to read up on this situation. Tell me what you think. Let me hear it in the comments section below. If you think I'm absolutely wrong, let me know it. If you think I'm right, tell me about it. So now we're going to go on to, I think, is the most important part. In my opinion, honestly, it's kind of simple. I think that even, let's say, worst case scenario, Voyager gets hit with this and they take it to litigation and they have to actually stop servicing their customers. Okay, you know what? I am actually hopeful, and I don't believe that this is going to end Voyager. I think it's really, honestly, a massive opportunity to buy the dip. And this is why I say that. Worst case scenario, they get fined a lot of money, they pay the money, and then they seek the SEC regulation and licensings that they need in order to do this. And they'll work through it because I believe that they have one thing that almost no other cryptocurrency platform has, and that is the man himself, Mr. Steve Ehrlich. Okay, this is a wonderful article that I was looking up earlier, guys, and I just want to take you through this a little bit of this article. It says, as a part of my series about investing during the pandemic, I had the pleasure of interviewing Steve Ehrlich, CEO and co-founder of Voyager Digital. Steve has over 25 years of experience in capital markets, starting his career at TIR Securities, an institutional brokerage that was sold to E-Trade Financial. Steve is the former CEO of E-Trade Professional Trading, which later became Lightspeed Financial. Under Mr. Ehrlich's lead, Lightspeed Financial became the third largest broker in the United States and executed an average of 450,000 trades per day by 2009. Now, remember, this was way before all of the online, Robin Hoods and things like that. Like this was very new stuff. Steve is the CEO and co-founder of Voyager Digital, co-founded with Oscar Salazar, one of the co-founders and first investors in Uber. I'm going to cover a few of the questions that the interviewer asked Steve Ehrlich. He said, thank you for doing this with us. Before we dig in, our readers would like to learn a little bit more about you. Can you tell us the backstory about what brought you to the finance industry? He says, I started my career in public accounting, working for BDO Seidman in the late 80s. So first of all, guys, this right here should already tell you, Steve has a ton of experience. Steve literally started working in this field toward his career in the late 80s. This is a lot of experience, guys. A lot of experience. He continues to say, I wanted to work for a smaller CPA firm so I could learn more about how small companies work, as I always felt the pull to be an entrepreneur and start my own company. In 1994, I was lucky enough to be hired by Jarrett Lillian to oversee all in 1994, a long time ago. Steve's been in the game for a long time. All of the financial operations and compliance aspects of TIR Securities. This man in 1994, a long time ago, guys. This is almost 30 years ago. This man was already in charge of all the financial operations and compliance aspects of a securities company, okay, in New York. And he goes on to say, we subsequently sold the business to E-Trade in 1999, and my transition from traditional broker to online brokerage was made. Okay, that's great. So he's already in 1999 moved into this online brokerage platform. Okay, so you're talking about a man with tons of experience. This was also, again, I don't know if it says it in here, but remember, Steve Ehrlich was the VP of E-Trade, okay? He was up there, and he has lots of experience in this area. If you go back and watch a lot of Steve Ehrlich's interviews that he's had, when they get really deep into the conversation, the interviewer asks him what are his views on regulation. And Steve Ehrlich's very clear on this. He's been very clear on this for a long time, and he talks about how it is one of his highest priorities is regulation. And they believe that the people, the cryptocurrency platform that can actually comply with regulation fastest and adopt that regulation and move with it are going to be the most successful platforms. He's very clear about this. And he also talks about how much they're striving toward doing so. The next thing they go on to say in this interview is, okay, thank you. There's more general finance questions. You are a finance insider. If you had to advise your adult child about 5 non-intuitive essentials for smart investing, what would you say? Can you give a story or an example for each? The first one was follow your gut and trust your instincts. Guys, I think that's wonderful advice. Investing is a lot about knowledge, but it's also a lot about following what you believe, because I may make money in a certain way that you may not be able to make money, but you may make money in another way that I can't make money because I don't see the vision that you have. All right. Never get emotional about investing. That's right. Investing is all about taking in the knowledge that you receive, and we all receive different knowledge, and then applying that to the market and not getting emotional about it. Have a game plan, short and long-term goals. Absolutely, guys. YOLOing into something like Voyager Digital may not be the play, okay? So you might need to have long-term goals as well. Plan to save because you never know what life will bring. That is absolutely great advice. And then never listen to hot tips. Guys, I think that completely applies to this video. Never listen to hot tips. just because I say you need to invest in Voyager Digital, well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I like to invest in Voyager Digital. Just because you hear it from someone doesn't mean that you should do it. You should absolutely go through all of this information, and I'm going to provide it for all of you in the description below, so feel free to check it out. But you should be making your own decisions about this. Don't listen to somebody else just because they do something. Decide for yourself, invest for yourself, and grow and learn for yourself, okay? Because at the end of the day, they're their own person and you're your own person. Have a great time, guys. We'll see you later.